Howdy, hi, hey, marketing and digital media manager here at the NAA, Taven Wohlford, with another talk with the president. I am joined by NAA President Morgan Hopson, CAI. Happy June, Morgan. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Taven. How are you?
Doing great. Feeling that pre-conference show buzz. It's right around the corner.
Absolutely.
Competitors are preparing, kids are signing up, candidates are campaigning, the staff is moving offices. Honestly, it feels like the entire association is shifting into high gear. But Morgan, before we jump into NAA business, what's something you've sold recently that's reminded you why you got into the auction business in the first place?
We sell a lot of farm and ranch real estate. And so for us, just, selling people's land, selling people's, ranches that they put so much time and effort into, that's a lot of times generational. I think for me, that just reminds us, that we sell some of the biggest, I shouldn't say everything that we sell as auctioneers, some of the biggest assets in the world, right? But at the end of the day, what we get to do is help our sellers and our buyers, for that matter, achieve their goals. And so if that means moving closer to their families, if it means downsizing, if it means achieving something that they're able to do with the funds that they're getting from the assets that we're selling, I think that's really important. And so whether at the end of the day, if I'm working a benefit for a nonprofit or if we're selling land for a family who's owned this ranch for generations, just to be able to honor their legacy and honor like what they're doing, either as an organization or as a family who owns a lot of land, that we're able to move the needle for them and help them achieve those goals. And I think that's really, really special. I think a lot of times we have the ability to, like I said, the most, amazing things in the world are sold at auction despite community of practice. At the end of the day, it's just about helping our sellers and our buyers achieve their goals. And so that's always really special to be able to do that and be a small part of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I feel like I ask you every month how you're giving back to the members in your role as president, but getting to find out how you're giving back to just society in general is great. I love the auction method when you get to share about it. Let's start our association side of this chat with the International Auctioneer Championship. The deadline has officially passed, and as of today, we have 78 competitors signed up to compete in San Antonio. That's actually one more than we had scheduled last year. Now, I recently had a conversation with Abby Schmid and Tanner Roberts, our 2025 IAC champions, on the Auction Advocate podcast. And one thing that came up over and over again was the mental side of the competition. Morgan, you've seen a lot of competitors come through IAC over the years, whether as a competitor yourself, a mentor, or from the judging side of things. When you look at today's competitors, what separates the ones who are memorable from the ones who are forgettable?
For me, as a champion and as a competitor, someone who's spent a lot of time practicing and preparing for these contests, I'd say, I think my biggest piece of advice is just to be authentic. When you're in the contest that Friday, there's a lot of things going on that week. There are a lot of distractions, a lot of pressure, especially for those of us, I think everyone in the contest, they want to do their best, right? They want to make sure everything falls in the right place at the right time on that Friday when it's their time to get on the stage. And so I think my piece of advice is pretty simple, and that's just to be your authentic self. And to trust your preparation. Hopefully at this point, a lot of that work has been done. I know we still have about a month, until we get to conference and show. You are going to hear a lot of opinions leading up to competition day. I'd say don't let that muddle what you already know as a competitor, as a person. Some of that feedback is going to be really valuable to you. Some of it is going to resonate with you, and then some of it won't. And that's okay, because not every piece of advice is meant for every competitor. So I think as you ask what sets them apart, I think you can tell when people have canned answers or a canned intro, or they're almost trying too hard to be someone that they're not. And so that's when I say to be your authentic self, like be you. And that's going to show through to the judges. And that's what really separates those, top 10, 15 people from those that don't make the finals, right? Or don't quite get there. It's the people that really trust, their heart and trust all of their preparation they've done to work up to that day. I think also it's really hard to be in that room all day long, right? And listen to all your peers, right? Like you sit in that room. It is the best of the best in the country, in the world. And you're sitting in that room and you're listening to them all day long. I'd say to those competitors that are listening to, don't allow yourself to get caught up in the comparison game that day. Don't try to make those last minute changes that can really impact how. Don't do something that's not you. Again, I'm just going to go back to that. Don't try to do something that's not you. Focus on being the best version of yourself, because that's what the judges are going to see. That's going to resonate more with them than anything else you could possibly do. And then I think just to, I know you didn't ask my another piece of advice, but for those competitors, just to be present, you know, in the day, like enjoy that day, enjoy the experience, because I think that helps you relax. And when you're relaxed, the judges are going to see that from the stage. When you're not like too worked up or too tense, that tension, that pressure, that affects how we chant. It affects our presence on the stage, and the judges feel and see that. And so I think the more you can be present in the moment and really enjoy that experience, some of my best memories from competing have very little to do with the actual competition. They have a lot to do with the experience I had during the day, the sequester room, the friendships that I've made, you know, all of those little things that happened during the day, those conversations, those moments in the hallways, everything that happened around that day. And so I just say to the competitors, like, enjoy the moment, enjoy the people that are walking alongside you, try to have as much fun as you can. I know that like that day is a lot of pressure and a lot of nerves going on, but if you can direct those nerves into something positive and really trust your preparation and trust who you are as a person. I think for me, something that always helped was just remembering why I entered in the first place. And that was just to better myself, right? And to advocate for the industry. And so I think if whatever that reason is for you, if you can remember that day, that authenticity and just showing the judges who you are and being as relaxed as you can be is what's going to set those competitors apart from others.
The last Friday in May, deadline day for IAC, comes rolling around, and and the names start popping in on people that are submitting to get in this competition, and I'm creating these storylines in my head of oh, they put all this time in, they put all this effort in, here they go, they're going for the IAC. When deadline day comes up for you, are you still feeling that like, oh my gosh, we're this close to IAC already?
Oh, absolutely. I was texting Laura, who's our IAC chair this year, constantly being like, how many people are entered? What calls do we need to make? Who do we need? Who's not registered? You know? And so I think as champions, like we always have that, what's that going to look like? You know, how many people are we going to have? So we're last minute making calls and trying to get people registered and make sure people don't miss the deadline. But, you know, unfortunately that happens. And for IAC, that is the one hard deadline that the NAA has. You know, a lot of times, like we can kind of finagle a little bit with like conference registrations or summit registrations. Yeah, like essentially it's passed, but we can probably fit you in. IAC is one deadline that is a hard deadline. And I think a lot of competitors know that, but it's pretty much always the last Friday in May. It is at midnight on that last Friday in May. And I've had some people text me, and they're people that have, to your point, Taven, worked really, really hard to prepare for IEC. And for some reason, life happens, as we know, and that deadline passed, and you wake up on Saturday morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't register for IEC. And that's really tough. It is really, really tough. But that's the one deadline that we can't, tweak any. We have to stay pretty firm on that. And so as unfortunate as that is, I'd say, to those, and I've had a few text me, hey, is there any way we can get in the contest? And that's really not a me question. That's a Laura question. But the answer pretty much is no, because we have such a hard deadline on that. So just to keep it fair for everyone across the board, I hate to see anyone miss the contest because it is such a special moment and a special journey. But hopefully that allows them to just get even more excited for the contest next year.
Yeah. Is there anything they can do with this now extra year of practicing under their belt? Is there anything they can utilize this time for next year's IAC?
Yeah, I think one, you just using the moment to be like, man, that is something I really wanted to do. And next year, I'm not going to let life get in the way, or I'm going to make sure, I know the deadline. I think just coming this year, like I would encourage those people to still come to conference and show and be present and support their fellow competitors on Friday, because I think that says a lot. Even though I'm not in the contest this year, I'm going to come and I'm going to support those people who are competing because I would have been competing alongside them. And that means a lot to those competitors. And I think for that person who's not in the contest this year, you can learn something from that, I think. But just to use this time as preparation, and then maybe go ahead and put that last Friday in May on your calendar for next year, like IEC deadline, with big exclamation points around it, because it is definitely something we don't want to miss. And if we could, get them in, we would. But that is just one deadline we have to stay firm on.
So we've talked about IAC, let's talk about IJAC and that upcoming deadline. The deadline is June 30th, and we're on the verge of another record-setting year in participation. 17 young auction professionals graced our stage last year, and we already have 15 signups today. Morgan, let's say there's a 13-year-old kid out there right now. Maybe they grew up around auctions because mom or dad is in the business. Maybe they've never even picked up a microphone before. Maybe they're in the FFA and recently just learned about the world of auctions. They're interested, but they're nervous. And honestly, their parents are wondering if it's worth the trip to San Antonio for a competition they may not even win. If that parent called you, Morgan, they call you this afternoon and asked, why should I sign my child up for IJAC? What would you tell them?
One thing that I have so enjoyed watching over the last several years is that these students, it's really the community that they've been building, right, with one another. They've formed like such close friendships that exceed so much further beyond conference and show. They are traveling to contests together. They're cheering each other on. They're staying connected throughout the year. They're creating this network of peers that I think is pretty rare for them to have at this age, who share the same interests and same goals. And so if you have a 13-year-old kid who's already interested in this business, this is the best place for them to get connected, not only to students, but they are going to be around some of the most amazing auction professionals in this industry that really want to mentor them, that want to see them succeed. They're going to be in rooms with industry leaders who genuinely want to help them. And so I think, that is a big piece of it. But I think beyond that, even like stepping on the stage for IJAC, they're gaining confidence, and even just being around their peers who are doing the same thing as they are, through this whole process, I think they gain public speaking skills. They learn how to think on their feet. They're learning how to communicate more effectively. They're learning how to perform under pressure. And those are life skills that are going to benefit them whether they choose a career in the auction industry or not. Those are things that they're picking up now and that they're learning and growing into, that is not just going to benefit them in this contest, but is going to benefit them in life as they're interviewing for jobs, as they're trying to get into colleges, and creating these life skills that they can continue to hone in on through the next gen classes and in IJAC as well. I'm really excited to see it. I think one thing, Taven, if anyone is listening that has had a kid in IJAC or may have a kid interested in competing in IJAC, the deadline to register this year is June the 30th. It has always been the day of the contest, always. We have moved that this year because we have so many kids interested in it, which is amazing. But I just want to make sure that it is really clear that we've moved the deadline to June the 30th, because we've never had to do that before. We've always allowed people to enter until the day of the contest. And so just want to make sure that people know that we have moved that deadline. We have actually moved that IJAC contest as well. It is going to happen on Thursday this year instead of Wednesday. So a little tweaks to the schedule, but all to hopefully better the experience of our competitors and of these next gen students. They're going to have next gen programming the whole week there at conference and show, which is amazing. We have so many kids coming in that aren't in an auction family already. And so just trying to make that experience better for next gen across the board. And then on Friday, if they are to make the finals, they get to compete on the big stage, like right before IJAC or IAC starts. And so they get that experience as well, which is something that we've been really intentional about, letting them be able to shine on the big stage, but they get to be on the big stage on Thursday, but right before the final start for IAC on Friday. So that's pretty cool.
Have you judged a competition for both junior auctioneers and like adult level ages?
Yes, I have.
When either one of those competitions is over and the judges are comparing notes, what are you really talking about? Does it look different between IAC and IJAC kind of conversations, like what you're pointing out in a kid versus an adult, or not really?
I think so. I mean, I'd say we don't ever compare notes during while during judging.
After the
Does that, so I just want to be clear about that. Like, we're not like sitting there like, what would you score this person? Would you? So we're all doing that individually. But after, I mean, I think it is a little bit different because these students, a lot of times, they haven't been competing for very long. So some of them have been in the contest or have been doing contests throughout the year, maybe state, and maybe they've done IJAC before. I think it's a little bit in the same vein to like, because even in IEC, you look at competitors and you look at their growth over years. And it's the same thing for IJAC. Like when they come in, like a lot of times for me, it's like, oh my gosh, they've grown so much since I saw them last year, right? In this contest, or oh my gosh, they have so much more confidence, or they're being more, I'm going to go back to that, being authentically themselves. Again, you just see like the confidence, I think, in these students come out. And a lot of times it's more like, oh my gosh, I think as judges, especially judging the youth contest, it's, oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not competing against them. They're so good. They're so well spoken, right? It's a not more serious, but it's just a different kind of conversation with IEC competitors. But I think for IJAC, you just have so much pride in these students, right? As you watch them grow. Not that we don't in IEC, but I think we do have that at a different kind of level as well. But to watch these IJAC students just come in, and like I said, they've created this community with one another and these friendships with one another. So it's just really special to like watch them cheer each other on and be there for one another and be excited for one another. And I think sometimes when we get older, competing in IEC, we kind of lose that a little bit. I think if you've come to Conference and Show, it's just a big love fest all week. Like it's a big, family reunion. No matter whether you're in IJAC, IEC, or you're just at Conference and Show, I think the community and the networking is really special. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't been, I hope you're coming this year to San Antonio. It's going to be a really great time.
Yeah, you better be there. We've talked about future auction professionals. Now let's talk about future auction leaders. One of the things I love about the NAA is that our members don't just participate in the association, they help shape where it goes. Coming up on June 29th, members will have the opportunity to hear directly from our candidates for vice president and board of directors during the Meet the Candidates Zoom call that we have coming up. What can members learn from this Meet the Candidates Zoom that they couldn't get from simply reading a candidate's bio?
Yeah, so I have the privilege of moderating this conversation with the candidates, but I think a lot of times, in a bio, like any job application, like anytime you're volunteering for an organization, a bio tells you very few things, right? It can tell you where someone works. It can tell you maybe what they've accomplished, what awards they've won, what positions that they've held. But a lot of times that bio doesn't really convey how these candidates are thinking. It doesn't really tell us what motivates them to serve, in my opinion. It doesn't always tell us how they approach leadership decisions or maybe what they envision for the future of the NAA. And so I'm hopeful that this conversation, the reason we created this kind of town hall, if you will, to meet the candidates, is that so our members have the opportunity to really hear directly from the people that are asking for their vote. And I think that's fair to both the candidates and to our members as well, because it gives them another opportunity to really speak to their vision of leadership and of where they see the future of NAA and why they think that as a candidate that they can make an impact. And so we're just going to have a conversation. I mean, it's just going to be a series of conversations and questions with these candidates. And hopefully our members get a clear picture of, who these candidates are as leaders and why they're willing to dedicate their time, because we know it's a lot of time and energy to serve this association. And so what is their motivation behind that? What is their vision for the NAA? And at the end of the day, this association is for our members. It's our members association, right? And I think the more informed that our members can be when they're voting, the stronger our organization is going to become. And we do have for director this year, we only have 2 spots, and we have 4 candidates running? 3 candidates running, sorry. So, it is going to be a true election. T-Cal's in a good spot as VP. He's the only one running for VP this year. But it'll allow our members to get to know him better as well. T-Cal served in a lot of different capacities over the years, so I think a lot of our members know him pretty well. But gives a chance for them to learn what he envisions for the NAA as vice president, future president of this association. And so I think even for that role as a candidate, it gives our members a little bit deeper insight into that. And then for director, it'll allow them to see what sets each director apart, what makes them different, what does our association need right now, who's the best person to step into those roles and continue to lead this association in director capacity. So I encourage you to attend if you can. Again, it's on, remind us of the date, Taven, the 29th.
June 29th.
June 29th. And then if you're not able to attend, I think it's over lunchtime, but if you're not able to attend, we are going to record it. So you'll be able to watch it later as well.
Reading a bio is one thing. Having a live conversation is a complete other thing. You've been through this process yourself, and I kind of want you to expand on something you just said there. What happens during Meet the Candidates that benefits both the members asking questions and you yourself, the candidate, answering that question? How are candidates benefiting from Meet the Candidates?
I think it allows us the opportunity to give our perspective on certain situations, or how we foresee leading an organization, or how we foresee walking through tough conversations and tough leadership decisions. I think a lot of times too, as a candidate, maybe you haven't really fleshed that out. You've done a lot of mental thinking. Sometimes you haven't always fleshed those out aloud. And so it gives us a chance to, I think, to process, okay, this is how I would tackle this certain situation, or this is how I would suggest we make decisions as an organization to lead us to XYZ goal, right? And so I think as a candidate, it allows us to not only give our perspective on certain situations, but help set ourselves apart from other candidates, and then maybe give our perspective on how we continue to lead.
Okay, cool. I was just curious about that, seeing how you responded to a situation like that. Very cool. Hey, let's finish with the fun stuff. Not that the other stuff hasn't been fun, but it feels like every week NAA's marketing team gets to announce something awesome about this year's conference show. This past week, we gave some more insights into our opening night Welcome Fiesta. We've got mariachi music. We've got beer burros. We've got a mechanical bull that, as of this recording, is apparently being measured to make sure it fits through a doorway. And then from 7:30 to 9 p.m., the Bellamy Brothers take the stage thanks to our friends at the Texas Auctioneers Association and Mike McGavel-Jones and Cheryl Bates-Jones of Auction Academy. You're a Texas girl, Morgan. What about this year's Welcome Fiesta really gets that Lone Star heart pumping for you?
They say everything's bigger in Texas, Taven. So I think that this year's conference and show is really going to live up to the reputation. We have some really fun things happening. I mean, again, thanks to Mike and Cheryl for getting the Bellamy Brothers, Auction Academy for your part in that. It's going to be a really, really fun evening. It's going to have the Texas flair, I think, that everyone's expecting. We are going to be in San Antonio, so we had to bring some mariachi in. Don't worry, they're only going to be there for a little bit. We are not going to have a full 2 hours of mariachi. That would be a lot. But we are excited to have, some of that, the local flair, and then the Texas flair as well. So I think we've created such a good balance this year. We've gonna, have these Texas experiences that are going to be there, and thanks to the TAA for their part in that as well. But I think, a lot of the theme around this year, a lot of conversations that have been happening is around community and connection. And so I think that's what makes Conference and Show special every year, is just the people and the education. And like I said earlier, the conversations that are happening in the hallway, and just being able to network with your peers. As I said, it's a big love fest that's happening all week. And it's like a big family reunion. You've gotten to experience it a couple of times now, Taven, and it really is. It's such a feel good week, and you leave there so energized and so invigorated. You talk about earlier, you were asking me, what have I sold lately that reminds me what I do, or why I do what I do. And I think, Conference and Show really does that for me too. It gives you such good perspective to be like, oh my gosh, this is why I do what we do, because we get to work with peers just like this that are here in San Antonio. We get to, refer deals to people like this all over the country. We get to learn from one another. We get to have that connection and camaraderie with one another. And so I think that's really what makes Conference and Show special. Even though we're going to have all these amazing experiences that are happening during the week, our education lineup is also outstanding. Hope has done such a good job with the Conference and Show Education Task Force putting that schedule together. And I think no matter your... Oh, our full schedule is out. It's on the website. I think we are still waiting on a couple of speaker contracts. So if you were that speaker and you hear this, please sign those and get this back to Hope. Get that in for us. Then we can make it officially public. But, no matter your community of practice, I think that this task force has done such a good job in putting classes together that, whether you're looking to improve your marketing or improve your business or, explore new opportunities, you're going to have an educational session that fits you. And there is something for everyone here, whether you're a contract auctioneer, where you're a really tenured individual that owns your own business. We have some masterminds happening that are community of practice specific. We have some that are AI specific. So just a good opportunity to exchange ideas. Like I said, a lot of focus this year on connection and collaboration through this task force for education and just through Conference and Show in general. So if you were on the fence, there's still time, right? Like you can still register to come. We want you to be there. It's going to be absolutely exceptional. So I encourage you to get in the room and then just come hang out with us in Texas. We're a good time. We're a good time.
Yes, it's shaping up to be so much fun, Morgan. I am so pumped for San Antonio. When you look at everything we've talked about today, the competitors preparing for IAC, young people stepping up for IJAC, members looking to elect new leaders, all the excitement of Conference and Show. You've spent this last year helping to lead this association, Morgan. When you think about the NAA 10 years from now, what do you hope people are building on from the work being done today?
I think that you said it, that just that it's something that we get to build together, that the association isn't about one person. It's not just about, me leading the association or my vision for the industry. It's about all of our members coming together and collaborating to build on something that's way bigger than ourselves. And so I hope that people are still doing that. As we go down the road 10 years, we think we've had some big milestones this year, especially Taven, you're sitting in our brand new NAA offices as we speak. And this is the first chat with the president we've had where you've been in the new offices. So you guys are moved in or still in the process a little bit of getting moved in and organized.
I won't turn this camera around.
Yeah, correct. But I think that these monumental moments, within our association, show that we can progress and we can continue to move the needle. We're honoring the legacy of so many things and so many, it's the 50th year of CAI. So many big things have happened this year and we've celebrated so many monumental moments that I just hope our members continue to build on that and that they continue to build on it together. We have so many people in this association and our industry that pour into the auction industry every day and pour into this association. And so just continuing to recognize those people and support them allows us to move the needle together as an industry as a whole. So
fantastic. That is all I have for you this month, Morgan. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I hope to see everyone in San Antonio. I think we have another chat before then, so I'll get to encourage you one more time to come to Conference and Show, but I'm just really looking forward to it. It's just such a special way looking forward to capping my year, and it so happens to be I get to do it in my home state. So that's going to be a special moment for me, but I hope you'll come and celebrate with us and come to Conference and Show. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
That's all I have for you this month, Morgan. We will see you next month. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, Taven.